Airports are a dichotomy of the natural world I prefer. Everybody is anxious, constantly checking to see if their flight is on time, always in a hurry to get somewhere, but are left waiting. Everything is orderly, well engineered for traffic flow, sanitized, and fit for purpose. You are no longer an individual, but a passenger, and one that doesn't lead, but follows. So you obey their rules, be as inconspicuous as possible, and as a reward, you may get to your destination on time.
Hello.
But for me, my anxieties start in the airplane and not the airport, as I don't fly well. It's not a fear of flying, it's a fear of puking, as I get motion sick quite easily. But it is a risk I'm willing to take, for I was going to meet a very special friend. Well, I survived 2 flights and never once lost my lunch.
Good to see ya. Nice view. But it's not at the cabin. I'm not in the wilderness or the rural areas of Canada or New Brunswick. I decided to try something different while I'm taking a break from doing videos, and I figured there might be some people out there that were a little concerned because they haven't heard from me for a little while. Here I am. Cute little town of about, 11.5 million maybe. Here's another clue. If you look down there, there's no pickup trucks. Now, I don't know if I'm going to actually be doing videos here. I'm just sort of wandering around getting ideas. But I do hope to take in the local people and see a few things, do a little traveling, and possibly even meet some of my viewers. I don't know. If you figure out where I am right now, I am going to be north of here, or should I say slightly northwest. There's another country or 2 or 3 up there. I'm also going to be south, but next few weeks I'm just going to be wandering around, seeing what there is to see. So, long and short of it, I'm doing okay. I'm just chilling out and walking around, trying to get a little culture if nothing else. Other than that, I'm just going to relax, enjoy the view. Maybe I'll get a croissant or something later on.
But first on the list, get sick, as both me and Tater got colds just after arriving. But after a few cold meds, we were off. Hey guys, which way to the Louvre? That way? Merci beaucoup. Visiting the Louvre is like visiting a shopping mall, because it is a shopping mall. However, once I got myself oriented, I found the entrance to the museum. And by the way, don't expect to just show up and get in. Tickets to the Louvre must be purchased in advance, days, even weeks ahead. The riches of royalty and all its success are certainly a marvel to behold, and this is just the ceiling. For me, however, I found it just a little stuffy. Too much on war, suffering, the lives of the privileged, and what was pillaged by conquest. Pretty well everything you'd get on the 6 o'clock news, but with a little more artistic flair. Then there's this lady who gets an entire wall to herself, an Italian girl exiled in Paris. The crowd was in a frenzy, frothing at the mouth for a chance to poke their cell phone skyward for a glimpse of a pop icon. She's the Taylor Swift of the 1500s, I guess.
I like these wide expanses of space, even though there's lots of people around. I was kind of feeling confined in the museum. No cattle.
It would have been nice to take a boat cruise on La Seine, but pretty well everything in Paris had to be booked in advance or endure a long lineup, or both. There's so much to see and do in this cultural hotspot, but you really need to prepare in advance. For a random traveler like me, however, this is a difficult task. As for the other famous icon, we couldn't climb its tower, but at least we got a snapshot to commemorate our time in Paris. Soon we were in the air again, heading for a slightly warmer destination. Now, contrary to belief, the island of Capri in southern Italy was not named after an American automobile, but possibly after a wild boar. From Mount Solero, there are spectacular views in every direction, including the Faraglioni rock formations. As this was a popular tourist destination, you have to be patient and let others take their pictures. Sorrento, on the mainland, is a gorgeous little town with great restaurants. But we were soon off to another attraction nearby. One paved with huge volcanic stone blocks. The grooves in the streets were carved 2,000 years ago for chariots. Around 2,000 years ago, this was a quiet little mountain town near the gentle slopes of Vesuvius. It was a place where its people all had something in common. They just really hated clothes. Perhaps they had a really bad tailor. They also liked to bathe a lot, especially with their friends. Live concerts were also big here, and even Pink Floyd played live in Pompeii. They also really liked statues. One day, as they were wandering around aimlessly like these tourists, Mount Vesuvius blew its top, reducing the town to ash and bricks. As a consequence, the people were turned to statues themselves, attaining immortality as museum displays. And so ends my history lesson. As the sun sank, we were on our way again, speeding up to 300 kilometers an hour towards Rome. Now they say when in Rome, do as the Romans do. However, there aren't that many Romans in central Rome anymore, just tourists. Riding a double-decker bus was a lot nicer than fighting crowds or sniffing armpits in subways. Pretty well everything touristy here involved a lineup, including one of Rome's most famous landmarks, the Colosseum. It probably was worth a visit, even if I'd managed to get advance tickets, which I didn't. However, in looking at the herds of tourists pushing their way through the hallways, I was quite content at seeing it from a bus seat. I did, however, endure one tour while in Rome, to the catacombs beneath the city, that ends with a trip to the Capuchin crypt. This is where a religious order used the bones of its deceased friars to illustrate Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. Now, who thought religious art was boring? After the sunlight faded behind the Tiber River, we took another train downstream to where it meets the Tyrrhenian Sea at Ostia. It was a great place to end our tour of Italy, and the sun provided us with a warm goodbye. I loved spending time with my daughter, but in the morning she was on her way back to Canada. We had a great time in Europe, and after a spectacular sunset, we took one last family photo and watched the red ball of fire dip into the sea. The next day I was alone, but paid a visit to the ruins at Ostia Antica, an ancient Roman city buried by sand for centuries. In contrast to Rome, it was tranquil, quiet, and relaxing, with more parrots than people. Now, the Ostians also liked being naked, but were at least a little more physically active, enjoying many recreational activities, including water sports. I really appreciated the 19th century engravings were displayed to show what the Hadrianic Temple looked like when it was first unearthed, versus its present state after the restorationists had messed with it. Being able to wander the same halls as an ancient civilization 2,000 years ago is as close as you can get to time travel, and is one of the unique treasures of modern Italy. but it is an experience better shared, as other eyes may see things you might miss. And yes, even the Austians like to make a bath experience a party experience. Now this dude with the towel was obviously on his way to the pool party before he lost his head, and he gave me an idea for my closing picture. As they say, when in Rome. The next day I was somewhere a lot colder, but that'll be another adventure I hope to share with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my others as well, and happy travels, everyone.